Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJN TV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJN TV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Audio, yes. Video, yes. Dean, we made it.
Sweet. Oh my gosh, finally. Just a couple minutes late, but we're cool.
Not too bad, not bad. We're 6 minutes late. So thank you guys for being with tonight. I should have mentioned that Dean was going to be the next one on it. Because this is all mixed up. Ron, we've got a Ron Root session, and we have Bill Herman. We're going to be getting those after Dean's session here, and getting things ready to go. So, Dean, let's jump right into it tonight. You got a lot of great stuff for us. Who chooses who? I got to say that was a head scratcher when you sent that over. It's like, you got to give me what brought that on?
Well, actually, I want to thank my assistant, or my second in command here at Night Magic, Barb Alley. She actually gave me the idea for the seminar itself, and I'm actually writing an article for next month's DJ News that will go into some of this also. So there'll be some stuff that you can follow along with if you're reading the paper and stuff like that. But realistically, what I wanted to get down to the bottom is are we choosing our clients, or how are our clients choosing us? And what filters are they using in order to do that? And okay, so if they're using filters, how do we trigger certain filters to get certain clients?
Sure.
Right. So, and what message our entire business is sending to those clients. And I want to kind of outline what I've been doing. I want to outline the type of client that I gun for and how I get to that.
Sure.
Via everything that I put out. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff tonight. Hopefully briefly, if you have more questions, I'll watch in the chat window. You guys can definitely write those down. I've got about 25 minutes, I guess, to get through this, and I'll do my best to do that. So,
let's roll.
So I guess we'll get to it, right?
Yep, get her going. We've got
All
her.
right.
I think we're good.
Thanks.
Audio looks
well, my
good.
name's Dean Carlson. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and spending a half hour with me here on Disc Jockey News. And if you missed Mobile Beat, you're going to get some more seminars here tonight. I've been DJing for 30 years now, and I've seen a lot of interesting changes over the last 30 years, not only with the DJ industry, but with myself and what I'm looking for. And as you go through your career in this, and hopefully a lot of you are doing the same thing as me and making this a lifelong career, something that I didn't think I could do even 15 years ago, you'll see what I'm talking about here tonight. Who's choosing who? So tonight I want to talk about how our companies are run and how that affects, who's choosing us.
Sure.
What image are we presenting to potential clients, and how can we get them get the right client to choose us through what we're putting out. All right, and I'm going to do that by showing you what I'm looking for, and we'll go from there. Like I said before, I don't know how many nuggets I'm going to give you, because realistically, I don't know what your business is. I know what my business is, and I've defined who my client is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, so that hopefully we can help you out with that. What I want you to do at the end of this tonight is I want you to sit down with a pad of paper, and I want you to write out some of these things and figure out, okay, well, who is my perfect client.
Mhm.
And how will see if you nail your perfect client, they are going to tell other people about you. Literally, just this last week, we had a phone call from a lady from 2 people that have booked us that have not even seen us perform yet, that those couples are raving fans already. And it's not by accident that that happens. It's everything and every touch that people get overall. So again, if you have questions, put them in the chat box. The first thing I wanted to start off with is the seminar actually started because I wanted to look into the future a little bit, where the DJ industry is going, and what we're doing overall, and where would my company be in 5 and 10 years from now? Because if you look at what DJs were doing even 10 or 15 years ago, when I first went to Mobile Beat in 2004, it's the landscape has changed dramatically in that amount of time.
Tremendously.
How we're DJing and stuff. So I don't know. You got to kind of keep up in some fashion with that, but I want to suggest that you become the leader in that, and that you take the reins of that, not necessarily following what everybody else is doing, but judge where you want to go and learn from that. So a long time ago, I heard the phrase "readers are leaders," and if you look in the
Yep.
background back here, you see one of my 4 bookcases that are in my house. I read books all the time. I have a threefold reading method that I go through. I read a business book, then I read a pleasure book, and then I read a spiritual book, because I'm a man of faith overall, and I do that over and over and over and over and again. Now, something that is interesting that I've learned about reading faith-filled stuff, like, and I'm not going to preach to anybody, but the message changes as you change and your life changes. So when you're reading a book, and I'm going to suggest that you pick up Harry Beckwith, Selling the Invisible, tonight, because this is where the main theme of this idea really started gestating for me. But I actually bought this book probably in 2006, maybe 2007, somewhere around there.
Yep.
And I picked it up recently to reread it, because I wanted to see, okay, so here's where I was at then. And I have all these spots highlighted from before, and now I have new highlighted spots. But I stopped on this one chapter, and it says, "Let your clients set your standards." All right, and I wanted to let that sink in a little bit. At the end of each of these little nugget chapters that Harry goes through, he asks a question, and the question that he asked is, "Who is setting your standards? Your industry, your ego, or your clients?" And I think that's a valid question to look at things, because, as you'll see, I've had conversations with other DJs recently about this topic and how it's affecting their business overall. And I think that you need to filter everything through this. Okay, so who's telling you to do what you're doing, and is that an appropriate way to look at it? Is it the industry? Is it your ego? Or is it your clients? So my big first takeaway from the night is be a reader. Second takeaway from the night is reread books, because that changes. The last thing I want to say about reading before we get into some of the other meat tonight is that we have a tendency to go, "Oh my gosh, I want to do this idea and this idea and this idea." And people that go to Mobile Beat do the same thing. Or if they go to, a whole bunch of these webinars, "Oh my gosh, I heard so many great ideas. I gotta do it all." Well, you can't. You cannot
Exactly.
do it all, and you should not do it all. Pick 1 to 3 ideas, implement those ideas, do them extraordinarily well, and then come back and reevaluate and come up with some other ideas and do it. So pick out a couple ideas and do that. So again, the filters that we're going to look at things through tonight: is it your industry, is it your ego, or is it your client? And how can I change what I do? Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Who is your ultimate client? For me personally, I have defined that after 30 years of DJing, I do not want to just sit behind a DJ booth and mix music all night long. Love to do that. Don't get me wrong. That is the main part of what we do. But I am a performer, and I love to do original things in general. So my ideal client has to be creative, all right? Has to be open to new ideas, has to want something that is different than everybody else is doing at their weddings overall, because it excites me. All right. You can hear it in my voice right this second, right?
Yep.
If I'm excited about it, the client's excited about it. If the client's excited about it, they're going to tell somebody about it. And the next thing you know, we've got this cycle working that it's feeding off of each other, and you're going to build your business. I do almost no advertising. I'm not even going to lie about that. I do 2 wedding shows a year. We're going to talk about wedding shows in a little bit overall, but that's it. That's all I do for advertising. I don't advertise on any the knot. I don't advertise on any of those other things. I'm a big referral person. I charge enough that some of those places are not great spots for me to get those clients because they're not my clients. They're tire kickers, and I'm not going to waste my time with a tire kicker. That's just not it. I want a certain client, and everything that I do is gunned towards that. So I want a creative client, and I want somebody that's interested in being open with new ideas overall. So that's good. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about tonight is your website. I'm going to put in 2 website links into the message bar down here if I can figure out how to do that. If you're on a computer, feel free to look at both of these websites, and I want you to look at the different messages that are being sent by both of these websites. And if they're your website, I'm so sorry. I just picked 2 people from Minnesota. One of them is High Energy DJs, and actually if you go to that website, that isn't even the name of their company anymore. I mean, it's this guy in this very loud suit and stuff like that. The website's very I'll just say it's self-made, clearly. Now Adagio is another company here in Minnesota that's a big multi-app company. They have a lot of money that they can put into this. They have professionals that do it. Their website's neat, tidy, and very targeted. Those are the things you want to look at first, because the first thing that you get, the first contact nowadays people have with you is your website. If your website isn't defining who you are and what you are, you're not going to get the client that you want to have. All right. I'll be honest, my website right now personally, which is nightmagicproductions.com. Feel free to look at it. It's not the best website in the world, but it does have some good photos on there, and it does show us doing some creative things, which is important to me because that's who I want. The second thing is, I'm sure you've heard this said before, make sure that you have a purpose for your website. My purpose is to call me. I'm not trying to sell anybody. I don't want to give out prices on websites. I don't want to do packages on websites. I want to do some, hey, I'm a DJ. You should probably call me. I'm creative. All right. I'm different than other people. That's the message I want to send. It's not perfect. I'm actually getting mine redesigned right now. That's my yearly project this year. And I'm being honest, I'm not perfect at everything that I'm talking about, but there are areas that I do excel at. The 2 stops for me next are website and social media, which I'm not very good at. Number 2 on my list is your phone. How do you answer your phone? Are you answering your phone? My gosh, I'm telling you, I hate it when we get to all these lists and nobody's answering their phones nowadays. Well, that means it's pretty darn important that you have a good message when on your phone. If you're not going to answer it right away, make sure you're calling it back. But be creative in your messaging. Be who you are overall. Because if you're not, what message are you sending? Okay, are you the high energy DJ who's great at mixing? Make that message like that. Are you the creative DJ who can do all sorts of different stuff? Make the message like that, but make it interesting. Make sure that you're talking about how and who you are overall. So it's very important that you do that. And probably the most important thing is calling people back overall as fast as you possibly can. I can't even overemphasize how great it is when a client misses me and 30 seconds later I'm back on the phone with her. She's so happy in general. The phones aren't ringing like they used to. I'll be honest. Most of the stuff's web stuff nowadays, and even text messaging. I get a lot of that stuff. So if you want to be creative, use text message. Text message people back and do some stuff like that. It definitely shows that you're into today. I'd probably stay away from emojis myself, but that's just me.
Dean, your website again?
My website is nightmagicproductions.com. I'll put it in there.
Yeah, go ahead. Put that in there for him, please. And then I'll just make it go live because I've got to click to make it go live.
Okay, there it is. Anyways, feel free to look at that. I'm only mildly embarrassed about my website. Number 3, I want to talk about, and again, I'm trying to buzz through some of this stuff tonight because I got a lot of ideas about this. But again, I want you to filter these things through that. When a client comes to your website, what do they see? That first website I showed you, guaranteed it was an ego-filled DJ that created that website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the DJ site number 2 was probably an industry kind of DJ site because it's a lot like a lot of websites that I've viewed lately. As I've gone into researching, looking for my own website, I've looked at a lot of DJ websites, and I've seen what's out there overall, and what the trend is. If you want to be viewed as original and different, well, then your website better be original and different.
Yep.
That's just the truth of it overall. Okay, so bridal shows. Here's where this story really kicked off for me. I did the Duluth Bridal Show this last year. There's 700 attendees at the Duluth Bridal Show. There were 7 DJ companies there. Of the 7 DJ companies there, 5 of them had totems with scrims on them and the one light above the moving headlight.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a bridal show, and if your message that you want to send to a client is that I am different, and you have a totem with a moving headlight, just like every other DJ at the DJ show, are you really going to convince that client that you're going to be different than that DJ? To be quite honest, I don't bring lights or anything to a DJ show. My DJ booth, or my booth at wedding shows, has a banner in the back. It's very well designed, all professionally printed and stuff like that. In fact, people walk by and if they don't read it fast enough, they have to ask, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
And I want that because what I want is the first contact with them. I want to say, well, we're different than everybody else. Okay, you can go to that booth, which looks like that booth, which looks like that booth. Okay, and if they tell you they're different, how are they different? All right. So what is the message that you're sending? Now, you have 3 pieces of the pie right there: your phone, your website, and a bridal show. All of them sending one message. It isn't. Every touch that you get with a client is important overall. So make sure that you're different overall. And then what are you giving people at a bridal show? Or what are you telling people at bridal shows overall? I'm going to give you, Barb's probably going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to give you a nugget that I came up with after the Duluth Bridal Show this year. I am stop handing out stuff to people at this next bridal show. I'm going to give them a piece of paper, and that's it. It's really going to be minimal overall. What I've found is that when we're calling people back, they're not looking through their bags,
Sure.
and they're not reading their stuff. And the other idea that I wanted to talk about was my booklet. My booklet I had professionally done. It's 20 pages professionally set up, and it costs me about $3.50 to print each one of these things.
Yes.
And when you're giving it out to 200 brides at a wedding show, that's a big investment. And if they're not looking at it, what good is it doing? So now everybody's giving me their addresses and stuff anyways. I'm going to mail it to them afterwards with some video stuff.
Nice.
So that's my big nugget for the day, because then all of a sudden it's away from all the packaging of the crap that they're getting from the bridal shows and stuff.
For sure. Good idea.
This leads me out into the stuff you're sending out to people. Mail is not dead. Oh my gosh. You would not believe how many people have replied to me and said, wow, you're like one of the only people that mailed me anything. And I'm like, really? That's very shocking to me. Email can get really lost in the jumble. All right. And if you're going to email somebody, may I make the suggestion that you actually brand your emailing? All right. One of the things that I've used, actually, Mitch Taylor hooked me up with a site. It's called outstand.com. Outstand.com. And I believe it was Gittimer. It was involved with that. Jeffrey Gittimer was involved with that, but it's branded emailing. And it looks really, really, really good. So all of my emails are branded and they look professional. Any mail I send out is on expensive letterhead paper with professionally printed envelopes and stuff like that. Because again, I don't want to be, your same old DJ out there overall. Then I want to talk about another thing is packaging. As a DJ company, for me, again, I want to be creative. All right, I don't want to be like every other DJ. 4 years ago, I made the decision to quit doing packages. I completely stopped doing it. I've done an entire seminar on this before, on why I believe it, and I think everybody should stop doing packages. To be quite honest, because you know what? How can you sell? And I have 4 people in my company. We're a 4-person multi-op, but how can you sell all of those people at the same level if they have all different talents and have different abilities?
Sure.
I just can't. I can't put my head around it. The problem with packaging is that people aren't very original with them. When I first did packages, the one thing that I looked at is how was I going to name packages? And you know what? DJs tend to rely on 2 types of names: either precious gems. Oh, I got the gold, platinum, or silver package. Yeah, that's inventive. Yay! You're so different than everybody else. Or they do the pizza topping one, which is supreme, extraordinary, or whatever else, ultimate package. Again, when I did packaging, in order to stay creative, I actually named my packages after dances. I had the tango. I had the electric slide. That was how I went about it. Seriously, it worked out very, very well. So, which one did you want to go with at that point? But I did make the choice to go away from packaging. I do charge differently for each of my DJs. So, in a way, it's sort of like packaging, but it's really not in general. But you should hear the clients when you're trying to change the direction of creativity with them at that point. You don't do packages? Well, what do you mean you don't charge for time? No, I don't charge for time. I'm there for the whole dang day, but I'm going to charge that client enough that I don't care if I'm there the whole dang day, to be quite honest, overall. And this is the only thing I'm going to say about pricing, and this is a lesson I've learned in the last 3 years, is there's a big difference between charging $50 and $100 more than your competition than charging $1,000 more than your competition. It's noticeable with the clients. You get lumped in if you're just charging a bit more than your competition, and you aren't going to get that. You become a commodity, and it's no good for you or your business in general. If you want to make more than your competition, make more than your competition. Go for it. Charge a lot more. I'm at $2,500 for my charging for myself right now. I have a goal of $3,500 next year. We'll see how that goes. And in Duluth, Minnesota, a town of 80,000 people, I'm definitely by far the most expensive DJ here. Meeting places, whether you have an office or not, is an interesting choice. I don't have an office. I prefer to meet people at different places, coffee shops and stuff like that. But it does say about who you are and what coffee shop or what place you're choosing to meet at. If you're meeting at a McDonald's, well, yeah, whatever.
You're sending a message.
You know what? If I wanted to really impress people, I like to meet at their house if I can. Nothing like coming into their home and being invited in. It changes the whole thing. In fact, this Saturday I have 5 meetings, 3 of which are at clients' homes, nice. Which is pretty cool. Who's doing your meeting? Best choice I ever made. Here's a big lesson for you guys. Who's the voice of your company? I suck at sales. I'm just going to say it right now. I am horrible at it. I don't like doing it. And if I didn't have Barb Alley on my team, I wouldn't be in business right now. I'm just going to say it. She's the most awesome, outstanding human being, and she's probably watching right this second.
She is. She is. She's critiquing everything you're saying.
She's critiquing me, but I hate it, and she's super good at it, man. I'm telling you, there's nothing like a woman talking to a woman about weddings. And I learned that lesson from Tom Kennemore, a multi-op that I was working at before. So she is the face of my company. So it's really important that you make that choice. Social media, I'm really the weakest at. I mean, I don't do a lot of social media. I'm not on Facebook a lot anymore. I don't know much about that. I can't give you guys much stuff on that in general, but there are other good seminars to look at. And finally, the DJs that you hire, I don't know if your guys are single ops or multi-ops. I never wanted to be a multi-op. I ran a 25-person multi-op for 8 years, and Barb. Actually, that's where I met Barb. She also worked at that place, and then it was like we were the den mother and the den chief of a bunch of kids, and it was horrible. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be a multi-op owner, but when the right people came along, I couldn't say no. Barb came about 2 years after I opened my company. Barb came along. Sam came along about 4 years afterwards. Again, the right person. And then last year I had another DJ that worked for me a long, long time ago. She had a child that was sick, and she was great. And then it was a no-brainer. She said, "Hey, you got extra work?" And I said, "Oh yeah, for you, I do." So, having the right face of your company, overall. But one of the things that we do here at Night Magic is we emphasize team. And you don't hire a DJ; you hire Night Magic as a team, and we all work on each other's weddings. So, especially when you want to become creative, this year, oh man. Another thing Barb always says about me, she says, "You agree to do stuff you don't know how to do," and I do all the time. I want to push the boundaries of what's possible and what's not possible. Last year, I had Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings, introduce a client.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty outstanding. In general, this year, I'm going to meet with a national band on July 7th when they're in concert in Duluth for a wedding that I have in November. The bride and groom, it's their favorite band. They don't know this, and I'm going to pitch something to them and see if they want to get involved with either a video message for the day or something. So, those ideas don't just happen from one person. Those happen from brainstorming sessions, and I really like that. And then I know we're kicked on time here. Let me just say one last thing. DJ gear is the other thing. I have a lot of DJ friends. I have 1,000+ people Facebook friends, and almost all of them are DJs. And I see your gear. I see it. And me and this other DJ in Duluth, he sold all his other gear and he bought those totems with the moving heads on there. And I'm like, okay, you're just like everybody else. Is that the message you want to send? Maybe it is. I don't know. That's not me. Sound is important. Obviously, some of you guys might know Bill Herman. I was an officiant at a wedding that he did 2 years ago. He doesn't even bring lights to a wedding. And he is the most expensive DJ in Minnesota. And he's excellent, but it isn't about the lights. It's about, the creativeness that he brings to the table, and his clients know it and they pay it. So, again, what I want you to filter everything through tonight is I want you to go through your company, and I want you to go through your website, and I want you to say to yourself, where did I learn how to do this? Was it the industry? Or, gosh, here's another thing about websites, DJ websites. They like to talk. You'll notice about my website, there's very little writing on there. If you go to a lot of websites, it's like, if you want to make a blog, make a blog. This is a website. This is to get people to call you. Be careful that your ego isn't in charge of everything that you're doing in general. Make it about your client. Make it about the perfect client for you. Like this booklet I put together, everything is about the creative aspect of what we do. Nothing more, nothing less. And so when somebody reads that, if they don't like that, if that's not them, they don't hire us.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. I'm not wasting time with clients that are not going to be on board with what I want to do in general. So
nice.
I know that went by super fast.
It did. You covered a lot of ground, but you did a great job, Dean.
Yeah.
Great job. And Barb, of course, is in the chat room just telling everyone exactly how things go. So we've got that cleared up too.
Oh yeah, I see that she wrote there. She's great job. Whatever, Barb. Thanks.
Well, we got to bounce here, Dean. Dean, thank you much. If people want to reach out and get in touch with you, if they've got questions for yourself, or I'm knowing Barb, what's the best way to get a hold of either of you for any questions?
Dean at nightmagicproductions.com. I don't know if you can make my email link live there.
Yeah, I can't.
Feel free. You can make that happen.
No, I can't. I can't do that. But they can grab it. Night Magic Productions. They've got your website from before.
Yeah, it's just my first name at nightmagicproductions.com is my website, or if you're on my website, you can get my phone number from there. It's all over it. Yeah. It's right at the top. Call me. It's what I want you to do. So
he likes to call. So once again, gang, we'll be back in just a couple of moments with we've got Alan Marshall and Bill Herman coming up next. You can go out to djntv.com/DJEDU to get the link for that one. And again, Alan Marshall and Bill Herman. Dean, thanks for being with me tonight.
Okay. Yeah, you have a great night, John.